Today on Your Ag Empire, I'm talking with someone you already know, Brooke. Brooke Taylor, she's the Chief Brand Strategy here at Empire Ag. But today, we're diving into something a little bit more personal. Brooke is also the founder of the Rural Gone Urban Foundation. And this isn't your average nonprofit story. We're talking about scholarships for C students, grants for small town women with big business dreams, and love bombs for women in the ring with cancer. If you've ever wondered how to build something meaningful out of real life hardship, this is the conversation for you. Brooke, welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be here on this side of the camera.
It definitely a twist of events here.
Yeah, I
Let's
sort of feel like intern Brandon showing up on New Heights, you know?
Absolutely. Let's start off here. The why behind the foundation. What made you start Rural Gone Urban Foundation?
Oh, we're about to go 0 to 60 so fast, Jonathan. So hold on to your horses, listeners. Here's the tea. March of 2022, I have a 2-year-old, a husband, I'm a business owner, and my cancer came back and it was ticked off and it was stage 4. And stage 4 is allegedly incurable. And so it showed up in my neck, clavicle, ribs, lungs, spine, and half of my pelvis. And I was given an expiration date. And I thought, not only is my kid not going to remember me, but everyone's going to tell her how perfect I am. I also know, being from a small town, that if someone graduates to heaven too early, you're on a pedestal forever. And how
Mm-hmm.
awful would that be to be a girl growing up in the pedestal of a perfect mom? We launched a foundation because no one can say no to someone who has an expiration date. Because as a business owner, I thought, listen, everyone would contribute to a small town scholarship fund at the local bank that might run for 10 years. Or
Sure.
I could launch a whole foundation, be in charge of myself, and then graduate to heaven and no one can let me down. It was like a perfect scenario for me. So we did it. We launched a whole foundation in less than 30 days. The first 24 hours that we were live on the website, we raised like $20,000, like $5 increments at a time.
I just can't imagine
That's it.
you being in the ring with cancer, getting that news. I mean, we all think about our own mortality, but like to actually hear those words, you're stage 4 and you've got an expiration date. Like I can't even imagine how you picked yourself up to continue on.
Yeah, the prequel is I've been the kid. So my dad graduated to heaven when he was 25 years old, and I was in kindergarten from colon cancer, which he was way too young for even a colonoscopy. And so I know firsthand what it's like to be the kid and not remember your parents' voice, and to know what it's like to hear how awesome your dad is. And he sounds like a cool dude, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
I hear I got a lot from him, but I knew. And so I think when you're in a fearful place and also a, sounds cliche, but a YOLO place, like, oh, what's the worst could happen? I die.
Hmm.
Man, adrenaline takes over, or at least for me, it does.
Yeah. I definitely think that knowing you during part of this, you handle it better than anybody I know. It is amazing.
I think something to consider is when you're in that place, like, you just do whatever is the next right thing. So I'm not doing anything special or magical. I might have a little bit more dark humor than the next person,
Definitely.
but like trauma fuels humor. So it works for
Sure.
me. But I don't know. Like, I don't think it's anything special. I think you would be the same way too, Jay. Like, listen, I've seen you in action. I've seen you at our team meetings when you are pacing the entire campgrounds, like on the phone. And so for me, it's the same situation. Like, sure, did I spend a whole summer getting blood transfusions because the medicine saving my life was also trying to take me out? Yes, but like, was that peaceful, quiet work time for 8 hours? Also, yes.
Sure.
I don't
What
know.
what does it look like being in someone's corner? What does it actually look like in practice, I guess?
Okay, so when something bad happens, I know that you are so familiar with this. People say things like, oh, let me know what I can do to help. Just give
Yeah.
me a call. That's so superficial because when you're in the trenches and you're scared and you're in fight or flight, like the last thing you can possibly think about is giving someone a list of how they can help you. And so being in someone's corner to me is like showing up and taking their trash out, like literally, or sending a message and saying, "Hey, I'm going to the grocery store on this day. Can I pick up something for you?" And like giving them very specific things they can say yes or no to. And so when we talked about the foundation, and we haven't even talked about what our like what we do as a foundation,
Sure.
but what we talked about is like where can we show up for people and we have no questions asked, like we're doing this for you, period. And that's kind of what it looks like for us.
I like that because I do think that it is odd, at times. And I just remember like my grandfather, when he would go to have like his scans, his checkups, he would get cranky for 3 days before. Like we just all knew pops wound up, and
Go
you
on
just,
and say it. Go on and say it, Jay.
well, so
You know when I have a scan.
I know when you're having a skate. And so like I've just tried to treat you the same way. And I even kind of play into the dark humor piece with you because I want you to know, like I know what you're going through. I don't know personally what you're going
Yeah.
through, but I know that it's there. And I want you to know that I acknowledge that and I see that and that I'm there for you. I think a lot of times we try to dance around it.
Kid gloves are not needed. Just be
Yeah,
real with someone. If they invite you into the trenches with you, like be excited that they did that because we don't have to let anyone in the trenches with us to know how
absolutely.
insane it is. And like I liken it to this. Having a cancer diagnosis that for me hopefully never shows back up again. I have clear scans for more than 3 years. And
Walking miracle.
I feel great. My medicine sucks, but like I feel great. And also having that diagnosis where they literally won't update your medical chart and say you're in remission or no evidence of disease or whatever that is. And you just have to go about your day being a 4-H leader and running a business and launching another business and running a foundation and putting dinner in the crock pot. And you just have to pretend that everything's fine, but the whole time your whole body is in fight or flight, just
You're still on
existing.
edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You even made that comment. It's kind of like being in Nam. That was a good analogy, in my opinion, really. Nobody understands it that wasn't there, but I've heard the stories. It sounds like a bad place to be.
So I know that sounds like a really weird analogy because I personally have not fought in war. I am in a group chat that is called TLC's Plan My Funeral because there's a group of us with stage 4 cancer here in Oklahoma, and we have a group chat because we joked about how funny would it be if we pitched a TLC as TV show called Plan My Funeral, which well, honestly we should. It's kind of ridiculous, but and if you hear me out, like we have a TV show now, our whole funeral is a write off, right? Like an affiliate link for our caskets. It
Sure.
honestly, as a business owner, it makes sense. And the first one of us died this week. And now, just like we joked about at that retreat, we'll go the first one who dies, everyone else goes to the funeral, and we're going to judge your funeral and see how well it turned out, all of a sudden, all of us are right back in Nam. And we're all like immediately aware of how quickly we can go from having a birthday party in Mexico, which she was just at like 2 months ago, to a
Sure.
funeral. Well, anyone could die in a car crash or a heart attack or whatever. When you're living with this type of cancer, like it's just a linger. It's like being in a fog. You're always surrounded by it.
Absolutely.
So it is kind of like
That's,
Nam.
yeah, I think for a lot of folks, and I know it's impacted a lot of people all over the US. Everybody's probably got somebody that has dealt with some form of cancer. I mean, it is
Yeah.
just crazy how rampant it is right now.
Okay, so
Um,
this is like a side rant because I feel like, I know that this podcast is dropping during pink month when everyone's wearing pink and buying pink and supporting the boobs and whatever. No one lost a battle with cancer. Don't say it. Don't put it in a Facebook post. Don't put it in an obituary because at best, it's a tie. Cancer can't win if I die. Like the body dies too. It literally also dies. So let's not say those things. Let's not say someone fought so hard. They didn't fight, they just existed. They didn't ask for it. They didn't enlist, they got drafted. So let's like words matter. It also matters like where we put our money. Buying a pink shirt because it's pink during October, that doesn't do anything. That doesn't fund research. It takes the 2 seconds to look at the tag and say, Does some of the proceeds of this like actually help someone, or is it just pink and I like the color pink?
Sure. I understand.
So
Let's
anyway,
shift gears to like some of the things that the foundation does, because
yeah,
like you talked about, as far as money flow in and supporting a cause, like this is something that I've got to look into quite a bit, and
yeah.
I want to shift in here. And I think one of the first things that you did was scholarships with no GPA requirement.
You and I think, are in the same boat where I know firsthand B's and C's get degrees and they run, people who do that run the rest of the world. And so the foundation I thought about, we talked about how I wanted to leave a good example for my daughter. And because on paper, I'm a pretty cool kid, right? I
Hmm.
run my own business. I launched a foundation. I went to college. I was a homecoming queen at a D1 college. Like I sound cool on paper. And those seasons were also pretty hard. What we looked at is what is the common denominator of people we want to support? And we want to support brave and strong, rural, gritty, pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of women. And so we do that by scholarships. So B and C students, what we're looking for, what the committee of, I think we're up to like 12 women on that committee. We are looking for women. We don't care how perfect your GPA is. We don't even require it to submit the application. What we're looking for is, are you going
The
to do
will.
whatever it takes to make your life exactly how you want it? Like, are you going to work 3 jobs while in college just for the opportunity to be there? And if you're that kind of person, we want to give you money. Like, we can't write a check fast enough.
That's what stood out to me. It was like, and we talk about this all, you and I've talked about this all the time, the grit factor, like just like some people have it, some people don't. And
Mhm.
just because someone shuts a door in front of your face, it doesn't
Yeah,
mean that there's a back door. There's a window that
get
you can
there.
climb through. Like there's some
Yeah,
way, shape, or form. You got to get yourself there, and you got to have enough fight and fire in you to do that. So when I saw that, I thought,
yeah.
oh my gosh, Brooke, like this is awesome. Because I remember we went to, back in the day, scholarship interviews, and it was like there were always the kid that was the top in the class, or the second in the class. Like they were always the ones that were going to get that scholarship. And then you'd find some scholarships that were more well-rounded based, and then you're kind of looking at, okay, well, which kids did they pick on that one?
So my high school counselor pulled me out of class one day, sat me down in her office and said, "Hey, your ACT score, not great. Have you considered cosmetology school?" And I remember thinking, what? First of all, I love my hairstylist. Can't live without her. I grew these hairs from scratch, so I like to take care of them. But that's not me. That's not my skill set. And I remember thinking, if my high school counselor doesn't believe in me, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Also, she should have taken the opportunity to ask me why I did so bad because I fell asleep taking it because we had regional basketball tournament the night before. Ask some questions. But had I listened to her and not gone to college and got my undergrad and my master's and been a homecoming queen and traveled the whole world on those study abroad programs, like where would my life be today? And so I mean, the hell I won't. Like I'm gonna do it anyway. And so believing in those people, that's important to me because if my kid is in that same situation, I want her to see firsthand she matters.
I think, yeah, we've got those people in our lives that tell us we can't and create those
Hmm.
boundaries. And what I think is really cool is that you guys are taking a vested interest in the ones that are kind of sometimes left aside. And it's like that little bit of, hey, we believe in you. And not only do we believe in you, but we're going to give you some cash to go get started and go do it. Like go
Okay,
chase your
so I have
dream.
2 scenarios I want to share with you of actual recipients. One was doing a trade, and she sent us a letter that said, I almost gave up. I almost dropped out. I almost didn't see this through. But you guys believing in me and calling me and giving this to me, like, I finished it. I'm doing it. And I have never been more proud of myself. I mean, that brought tears to my eyes. And then another recipient, we do require some letters of recommendation. And
Uh-huh.
her counselor wrote in hers, if she chooses to go to college, her family has already let her know they're writing her off. They do not want her to go to college. They do not want her to leave this town. And so she needs this money. And for us, it wasn't even really about the money. It was like, we want her to know we all know she can.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
That's
It's really fun too. Like, I know this sounds very logistical, and like this morning I wear a lot of hats as the board chair, and like this morning we have, I'm worried about porta potties and for a fundraising event. And like I'm in this, and sometimes I have to switch back over and be like, no, we're changing actual lives.
This is what it looks like on the behind the scenes. The glamorous part is
Yeah.
of running a foundation.
The porta potties, like I have to make sure there's porta potties, and if we're going to serve beer at this fundraiser, I need a permit for it. Our the ticket sales, and we can pay all the vendors, but not until you send us a W-9. It's a lot of admin work, and honestly, I say this when I speak on stage, but I truly thought this foundation was going to be an everyone else problem, and no one was going to be able to let me down. And I'm honored that it's a me problem. I didn't ever foresee it being a me problem, but here we are, and it's really exciting.
That's crazy. I know. I love what you're doing on the scholarship side of it. So the other thing too, is this limited to people in a certain state, or is it opened
Sure.
up
So it's all
nationwide?
50 states. So we are 501(c)(3), and per how we filed, we do all 50 states. Rural, self-identified rural. Rural's kind of hard, right? Like you can live in an urban county, but live in an rural area. And
Sure.
so we use US Census information on if you're rural or not, but we're looking for rural women. So we do scholarships, and then we also do small business grants. By the time this podcast drops, you should know who won it this year. We're working on announcing that right now. And it is so cool. And so the reason we do small business grants is because when looking at my difficult seasons in life, this was probably the season filled with most silver linings, like the coolest season in my whole life because I bet on myself and won. Now, I found myself in a situation in a relationship I didn't need to be in. And I literally left my corporate job making a really good paycheck, packed up my house in Nashville, moved home to Clay Ranch in Perkins, Oklahoma, lived in an apartment in a horse barn with no internet, and launched my creative agency. I didn't have any clients. I didn't know what I was doing. And I spent my evenings on irs.gov trying to figure out exactly how to set things up and build things. And I watched every video that QuickBooks had on their YouTube channel, right? Like I was just in the trenches of figuring it out because when you're corporate, right, there's always a team that can handle something. There's a billing team and an accounting team and a new biz team, and suddenly you're just doing it all. And so we're looking for those same women in that same situation or similar who are doing all of the hard work. And we have a $5,000 grant that they can use for website marketing, whatever it is specific to marketing and comms. And we just write them a check and say, go do it.
Wow.
Sounds great. And so, a success story, a woman in Western Oklahoma started a flower shop out of her garage.
Hmm.
She has a fully functional website where she has subscription services. She has cooler boxes in multiple locations in her area, and it's changed her whole life.
That is awesome. And so there's no industry specific. It doesn't matter.
Mm-mm. A rural woman with a business. I'll be honest, we've had some growing pains and some learning in that, we do have requirements. This is a grant, it is for a business. So if you have an idea of a business, this isn't for you. Like you need to show us that you're doing the work and
Actually,
it's hard
actually started.
and you're ready and it's started, and you have to upload proof of your business. You have to upload your plan. Can I have a side rant? You use ChatGPT to do your whole application and copy and paste that in there. I can't delete your application fast enough. I can't.
Oh,
Like, I've never been more disappointed to be like, you're not it. You aren't gritty and hardworking. Like, you won't do whatever it takes. You're not the person for us. And that's
absolutely.
okay. It helps the other people sift to the top a little faster.
Well, so are you doing just one of these a year, or how does that?
Unless you have an investor who wants to write us a fat check, Jonathan.
We might need to find some folks that if you're looking for something good to get
Yeah.
behind. I'm telling you guys, this foundation. The cool thing about it, there's a lot of places that we've donated money to. All of us, we all have, and only 10% goes to the actual recipients or the good that they're touting that they're doing. I can tell you that this foundation is completely flip flopped. So there's very little in administrative, very little, and everything else is going out to make a difference. And I
And you
think
can say
that's
that. Why? because we have an excellent bookkeeping team.
That's true. That is absolutely true. And I think being able to see that has made me a believer in the foundation and what's going on, the good that is actually the lives that are being impacted, the good that's going on, and the fact that the money that's being raised is going for a good cause and it's not just being put into somebody's pockets. That's why I can get behind it personally.
We have an incredible board who are planning, we meet annually and we look at our budget and, it's a small budget. We're running things on a cash basis but we're also planning for scale, which means we made the really important decision 2 years ago to say, hey, we have to start carving out a piece for
Hmm.
admin costs because this is growing way faster than we thought. And some things just have to happen for a foundation to exist. And so I am grateful that as the acting executive director, I'm making like $7 an hour, I think,
Sure.
to call and do contracts and porta potties. We're building for scale.
Absolutely. Brooke, there's one thing that I can't believe I let it slip, but love bombs.
Oh, let's talk about
What?
it because they're going to make me cry.
Yes. What in the world are love bombs? And
Okay.
I've seen this on social media. You and I've talked about it, obviously, but our listeners, they don't know anything about them. Explain what they are.
Sit with me in this. It is spring of 2022. My kid is 2.5, and I know I am facing an imminent graduation to heaven, and she is not going to remember me. The whole world wrapped us in love, and we received some donations specific to our family that were to make memories. And that's how they were to be used. People wanted us to make as many memories as we could before the time ran out. So one of those memory making trips, I took my daughter to New York because she's a bougie little baby.
Hmm.
And we saw The Lion King and she ate lobster mac and cheese and we went to the zoo and we did all this stuff. And I also took her to a place you may have heard of called Tiffany's. And I am having a really incredible summer, but it's also awful. Like my bone marrow is trying to tap out. I'm getting blood transfusions all the time. Like I am not doing well.
Hmm.
And I take this baby into the magical Tiffany's, and together we picked out her high school graduation present and her college graduation present and her wedding earrings. Also, she doesn't like them. It's her fault. She picked them out. And she kept going back to this one bracelet. She's
Hmm.
two, guys. Like she's two. And she keeps going back to it. And she just wanted to look at it. So I put it on her wrist and it has this cute little ladybug on it. I realized that someday, statistically, I'm not going to be here when she becomes a mom.
Hmm.
And on that day, who do you want on those days, right? Like you want your mom.
Sure.
She's not going to have me. So I bought that little ladybug bracelet and she'll get that on the day she becomes a mom. And turns out I call her Ladybug, 3 years later, and she doesn't even know why. All those boxes are wrapped up in the safe. And I hope to give them to her, but I don't know if I will or not, but I hope to. And it occurred to us that women are naturally selfless. And when you're in the trenches of a cancer diagnosis, you want to become the least amount of a burden as possible. And so you already know you're costing your family income by being on the bench if you're a working mom.
Hmm.
You know that can't you physically can't do the dishes some days. And like my very first days of motherhood were just insane. And like you have to take care of yourself. But anyway, you have bills are piling up and it's just hard. Like it's hard. And so our love bombs are for women in the trenches to be completely selfless. You cannot pay your bills. Do not apply and say you need these to pay bills because you can put those on a payment plan. What you can't do is invest in your legacy. You need this. And like it's for your kids. It's like helping with the trauma that they're taking on. It's helping with your own trauma. And so we took the idea of what I was able to do for my kid. And while we can't send everyone to Tiffany's, unless we get some investors,
Sure.
we can love on women and help them do something for their family. And so some of the ways that it's been implemented, one woman had to sell her and her daughter's Taylor Swift tickets
Mm.
because she was going through chemo and she was immunocompromised. And knowing what I know now about how that concert tour turned out, I can't imagine. So we were not able to send her to another Taylor Swift concert, but she took her kid to another concert. One young mom took her son deep sea fishing. One mom printed all of the thousands of photos on her phone because who else is going to print mom's photos? You know, all the proof that mom's
True.
the favorite person. One lady took the very last trip she ever took with her family before she graduated to heaven. One mom wanted to show her boys that she was strong again, so we helped her revamp her home gym. One woman was going on her 40th birthday trip, so we paid for some of the activities she did on that trip. It was her 50th state, I believe, that she checked off.
Hmm.
And so they're kind of all over the place, but what we're looking for are women who have a very clear POV. And I need to do something that's for me, that's for my husband, that's with my friends, that's with my kid. And I need to do something that's in the present because it's not it's not guaranteed that I'm going to have a future.
Sure. That's heavy.
It's heavy. It's heavy, right?
It
Sorry.
is.
Sorry to bring it down, but like it's also really flipping cool.
When I heard about it, I was blown away at the thought behind it on how it was derived. I think it's a great thing. Why is judgment free help so rare? I mean, especially in rural communities.
Think about a small we love small towns, right? I love my small
Yeah,
town.
absolutely.
They're also kind of judgy a little, you know?
Sure.
And so like how dare Sarah Sue take her family to Disney World? She's got bills to pay.
Yeah.
How dare like no, that's exactly what we want you to do because those kids aren't going to remember that. They're going to remember spending a day with Mickey Mouse.
It goes back to like what's the real meaning of life, and I think
Yeah.
until you've stared death in the face, you don't really realize what is important. And I think you bring a unique perspective, as dark as
Yeah.
that is, but you bring a very unique perspective that all of these women, they're going to face at some point during this whole battle. They're going to face that.
And also, we all are. That's the only thing that's guaranteed,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're all going to graduate from this earth at some point. Yeah, it's like, is it going to happen today? Like, when I pray every day, Jesus knows. I'm excited to come to heaven, but like, not yet, man.
Just a little bit longer.
You wait.
I know.
Like, I'm sure you've got some really cool projects for me to produce.
Exactly. I think it's been really cool to see this evolve, and to follow it the last couple of years. And we were able to go to the golf event this year, and the fundraiser. Like, that was fun to get to meet everybody, even though we did have a storm come blowing through Oklahoma.
Well, let's talk about this storm. So the bison is on our logo. So my dad graduated to heaven when I was in kindergarten, and the year later, a white bison, not albino, was born in Wisconsin. My grandma, my dad's mom, painted this painting right here,
Yeah.
that white bison. And I've taken this painting with me. It was in my dorm room. It's been in every house. Like I take it everywhere. What's symbolic of the white bison is hope. And what's cool about bison in general is when a storm is coming across the plains, most animals will run from that storm. But a bison is so badass, turns on its heels and it marches right freaking to it. By doing so, it's in the storm a least amount of time where everyone who's running from it ends up running in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's very symbolic for us because whether it's being a first gen college student who doesn't know how you're going to pay for it, or launching a business from scratch, or sitting eyebrowless in the trenches of a cancer diagnosis, like we just have to sometimes pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and just face the dang storm, just get her done.
I mean, is it kind of, do you feel like the symbolism with the bison and then also looking at your personal journey? I mean, what has all that taught you about bravery?
So I teach my now 6 year old that bravery, you can be scared. It is absolutely acceptable to be scared, but bravery is being scared and doing it anyway. And so that's how I live my life. And I think there's like, you're going to be scared anyway. So you might as well try it out.
How do you stay grounded while carrying all of this?
The group chats with my friends who roast me on the daily, like, I think it is so important to surround yourself with people who are real. Listen, I don't look at me and say I'm not a little bit crazy over here. Like, I do have a therapist. I meet with her weekly on Monday at 2 o'clock. Like, this is not traumatic, right? Like, this is hard and scary. And, I have a really good set of friends who ground me. Okay, an example of the grounding of my friends. Sometimes I freak out before a scan. Do I have a Google Doc where I've outlined what I want to happen at my funeral and I update it before a scan? Yes. Have I shared it with all of my friends who send back eye roll gifts that are like, not you again, planning for your funeral? Like, they just kind of roll with it and don't let me get too big on my britches, if that
Sure.
makes sense.
I
They're
understand.
not kid gloving me at all.
Yeah.
Also, you, Jonathan, you send me a message to be like, off your game this week, huh? Yeah, like, it's struggling. Did someone die? You have a scan coming up?
What's
Like,
going on? I know
I
you're up.
think that's important. Like, you're being a little short with the team, Brooke. You good?
It's tough. It is. And I mean, you're pretty blunt too, I think in
That has
communication
nothing to do with cancer, if we're being honest.
stuff. That's been there for a long time.
I came out of the womb that way.
Oh, Lord. What do you hope that Elsie sees through all of this work?
So she already knows that when we go to an event, she knows it's for the brave and strong women. When she was younger and she was at school, wasn't at school during the day, she made all the phone calls with me to let someone know that we were going to send them a check. She knows exactly what we're doing. Like, we went to the gala last February and she got
Hmm.
all dressed up and she said, I'm a brave and strong woman. And I was like, yes, you are. And so I think that's exactly what I want her to get out of it. You cannot outrun how much I love you because I created this whole thing for you.
Yep.
You can't outrun how much I love on other people because, like, if you want to, you could probably run this foundation, like you could just step into it. It's already happening. So, selfishly, we get to love on other people through this, but
Hmm.
selfishly, this whole thing was for my girl.
Absolutely. To know that you're impacting others that have the same thought.
Yeah.
I think that's what is so cool about being able to expand on that and really carry that out to everyone.
I haven't found another organization that does what we do for rural women. I haven't found it. Maybe it exists and their SEO isn't great, so they're not populating in my algorithm, but I haven't found it. And I'm not saying that rural women are better than urban women. Like, I'm not trying
Yeah,
to put anyone against each other. I'm just saying this is for our own people.
absolutely. I love it. What do you see the future of the foundation?
I hope that we have such an influx of donors that the next problem becomes, where are we housing this money? What percent of this investment is our cash flow for just operations? Can we give away so much more money that I'm not turning away applicants for love bombs?
Absolutely.
I don't want to have to pick and choose between people. They all need love bombs.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's incredible that there are other organizations that tout that they give $15,000 scholarships a year, and so do we. We're 3 years old. Like, what? Like, it's hard? Do
Hmm.
better. Like, what if instead of giving a one time $1,000 scholarship, we said, we're going to pay for every year that you're in school? You're going to a JUCO, 2 years from us. You're going to a 4 year, 4 years from us. What if we just kept them on the list?
Yeah. I like that. I think there's enough folks. I think if we can get the word out there, I do think there's enough folks out there that would really get behind what the Rural
Yeah.
Gone Urban Foundation's about.
I hope so. I know they already are. So join the community, ruralgoneurban.org.
Absolutely. How do people support beyond just making a donation?
Donations are, we accept them 24/7 on our website. And also, we do have some events. So if you're in for community, we have some events. We have the Wanderlust Gala that is in Oklahoma City in February. We have a golf tournament that's in Perkins, Oklahoma, which is my hometown.
Hmm.
That's in April. Then we also have a fundraiser that's happening right now in October, and it's on our website as well, but we partner with Kelso and Co. and Heritage Tractor Co. Up in Illinois. And I think you've seen the t-shirts before. This is my crop top, shuck cancer. Like those are pretty cool. And that's one of our biggest fundraisers for the whole year. And also we are looking for large donors. So if you want to be our biggest donor, man, slide into our DMs. I'll give you my personal phone number.
Absolutely. Feel free to reach out here on the show, and we'll make sure that Brooke gets that information and go from there.
We forgot. We buried the lead, Jonathan.
Oh, go ahead.
So we have a new board member on our board, a brand new sparkly shiny board member. You.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's hot off the press.
Hot off the presses. We haven't even posted that on social media.
I know. I'm excited. I haven't found a foundation that I believe in more than just. I think one, you got good people surrounded by a good mission, and I think that to me, I can get behind that. I hope that I can bring something to the foundation and help it to continue on.
Perfect.
I tell you what stuck with me most today. I love the fact that you guys are, well, I guess me too now.
This is an us problem.
But I love the fact that you're giving opportunities to the B&C students that are going to run the world. And I feel like they're getting left behind with the education system that we have today. And I'm just excited that you're going down that road.
Yeah, and this is for traditional school, trade school, JUCO, professional program, and it's for traditional students or homeschool students. So it's really for anybody.
Everybody. I love that. Any closing thoughts?
My life, I've tried to focus on silver linings, and sometimes they're what I need to get through a tough season. And if cancer had to enter the chat so that the foundation could exist, I'm okay with it.
Where can people learn more about the foundation? Where can they give? And how can they get involved?
ruralgoneurban.org. You can do a one-time donation or set up a recurring donation. You can also learn about all of our events and fill out a form to become a volunteer if that fits your goals.
You heard it here, guys. Visit ruralgoneurban.org to donate. Learn more about the 3 giving programs or share the mission with someone who might need it. And as always, subscribe wherever you're listening and keep building your empire, whatever that looks like to you. So be good or be good at it.